My future wife, wherever you are right now, I need you to hear this. This is not imagination. This is not a fantasy built from loneliness. This is not a story I tell myself before I sleep. This is real. You are real. And even though we have not met yet, or perhaps our paths have crossed without us knowing, I feel your existence every time I choose growth over comfort, purpose over distraction, and discipline over excuses. There is a strange feeling that comes over a person when they stop living for temporary pleasures and start building a future. They begin to realize that somewhere beyond today's struggles, beyond today's uncertainty, there is someone whose life will be connected to theirs forever. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Imagine a man standing alone in the dark before sunrise. The world is sleeping. The streets are silent. The sky is empty. Nobody is watching. Nobody is applauding. Nobody is posting about his sacrifices. Yet he keeps moving. He keeps working. He keeps learning. He keeps building. Not because success is guaranteed. Not because the journey is easy. But because deep inside his soul, he knows that one day the life he is creating will become a shelter for someone he loves. My future wife, that man is me. There were days when everything seemed uncertain. Days when opportunities disappeared. Days when people doubted my vision. Days when failure stood directly in front of me and demanded that I quit. There were moments when fear whispered that my dreams were too big. There were moments when reality looked stronger than faith. But every time I faced those moments, I made a decision. I decided to keep moving forward. I decided to become stronger than my circumstances. I decided that temporary pain would never become a permanent identity, because the truth is this: extraordinary lives are not built when everything is perfect. Extraordinary lives are built when people refuse to surrender during imperfect seasons. Most people wait for confidence before they act. Winners act before confidence arrives. Most people wait for certainty before they move. Visionaries move before certainty exists. The greatest transformation begins the moment you stop asking life for permission and start creating the future you want. My future wife, there is something I want you to know. I am not trying to become successful so people can admire me. I am not chasing wealth because I need validation. I am building because I understand something many people never learn. Money is not the goal. Freedom is the goal. Wealth is not about luxury. Wealth is about options. Wealth is about creating a life where fear no longer controls your decisions. Wealth is about having the power to protect, provide, and create opportunities for the people you love. That is why every challenge became a teacher. Every setback became a lesson. Every disappointment became preparation. The world often sees success as an event, but success is really an identity. It is the result of thousands of invisible decisions made when nobody is watching. It is the result of choosing long-term rewards over short-term comfort. It is the result of becoming the type of person capable of carrying bigger responsibilities. And one day, when our lives finally intersect, I do not want to meet you as a man full of excuses. I want to meet you as a man who conquered his fears. A man who kept his promises to himself. A man who learned how to stand firm during storms. A man who understands that real leadership begins with self-mastery. The world teaches people to search for the perfect partner, but very few people focus on becoming the perfect version of themselves. That is where most people fail. They seek results without transformation. They seek rewards without growth. They seek extraordinary relationships while remaining ordinary in their habits. I refuse to make that mistake. Before I ask for greatness in my life, I must become great in my character. So while the world is distracted, I am preparing. While others complain, I am improving. While others are waiting for miracles, I am becoming the kind of person who can recognize opportunities disguised as challenges. Because destiny rarely arrives looking like destiny. Most of the time it arrives wearing the clothes of hard work, discipline, patience, and persistence. My future wife, if you could see the journey from my eyes, you would understand why I never gave up. You would understand the nights spent working when nobody believed in the vision. You would understand the sacrifices made in silence. You would understand the battles fought internally, the fear, the doubt, the uncertainty, the moments when the easiest choice was quitting. Yet every time I was tempted to stop, I remembered something powerful. The future belongs to those who continue when everyone else stops. There is a version of your life waiting for you beyond your current limitations. There is a version of my life waiting beyond mine. And somewhere in the future, those two stories meet. Not by accident, not by luck, but by preparation. Think about the strongest skyscrapers in the world. People admire their height, but few appreciate their foundation. What makes a structure powerful is not what you can see. It is what was built underground. The same principle applies to life. Character is the foundation. Discipline is the foundation. Integrity is the foundation. Vision is the foundation. Without these things, success becomes unstable. With these things, success becomes inevitable. Every morning I remind myself that circumstances are temporary. Every setback has an expiration date. Every challenge contains hidden opportunities. Every obstacle is training disguised as resistance. The strongest people are not those who avoid adversity. The strongest people are those who learn how to grow through adversity. My future wife, I believe something extraordinary about human potential. I believe that most people dramatically underestimate what they are capable of becoming. They focus too much on where they are and not enough on who they can become. They allow today's reality to define tomorrow's possibilities. But transformation begins when you stop identifying with your current limitations and start identifying with your future potential. That is why I speak to myself differently now. I no longer say, I hope things improve. I say, I am creating improvement. I no longer say maybe one day. I say today is part of that one day. I no longer wait for confidence. I build confidence through action. And if you are listening to this right now, there is a lesson hidden inside these words for you as well. Stop measuring your future by your present circumstances. Stop allowing temporary difficulties to convince you that permanent defeat is inevitable. Stop telling yourself stories that keep you small. Your future is bigger than your fears. Your potential is greater than your excuses. Your destiny is stronger than your doubts. There will always be people who misunderstand your vision. There will always be people who question your ambition. There will always be people who project their limitations onto your dreams. Let them. Their opinions are not your destiny. Their doubts are not your future. The only voice that truly matters is the one inside you that refuses to quit. My future wife, one day we will look back at this chapter and smile. We will see that every challenge served a purpose. Every delay contained preparation. Every obstacle developed strength. What felt like rejection was actually redirection. What felt like failure was actually education. What felt like waiting was actually transformation. Because life has a remarkable way of rewarding those who remain faithful to their vision. Not instantly, not easily. But eventually there is something powerful about a person who continues despite uncertainty, a person who continues despite fear, a person who continues despite criticism. Such a person becomes unstoppable because their motivation is no longer dependent on external conditions. They become driven by purpose rather than emotion. That is the mindset I am building every day. A mindset that understands that success is not owned, it is rented, and the rent is due every single day. A mindset that understands that greatness is not a destination, it is a daily decision. A mindset that understands that every action is casting a vote for the person you are becoming. My future wife, I want you to know that I am not waiting for life to become easier. I am becoming stronger. I am not waiting for opportunities to appear. I am creating value. I am not waiting for perfect timing. I am making progress with what I have right now, because the future does not belong to the most talented. The future belongs to the most persistent. Talent can open a door, but discipline keeps it open. Intelligence can create an opportunity, but consistency turns it into success. Dreams can inspire action, but commitment creates results. And so I continue. Day after day, step after step. Not because the road is easy, but because the destination is worth it. Not because I know exactly how everything will happen, but because I trust the process. Not because I can see the entire path, but because I can see enough to take the next step. That is one of the greatest secrets of achievement. You do not need to see the whole staircase. You only need the courage to take the next step. Momentum creates clarity. Action creates confidence. Progress creates belief. My future wife, if there is one message I hope reaches your heart, it is this. Never underestimate the power of persistence. Never underestimate the power of believing in yourself when nobody else does. Never underestimate the power of showing up consistently, even when results are invisible. The world changes when ordinary people commit to extraordinary standards. Lives transform when individuals stop negotiating with their potential. Miracles happen when preparation meets opportunity. And I believe our future is being shaped right now by decisions made today. Every sacrifice matters. Every disciplined choice matters. Every courageous action matters. Every moment spent investing in growth matters, because one day the seeds planted in silence will become forests. One day the struggles that seemed impossible will become stories of victory. One day the person staring at uncertainty will become the person inspiring others to believe again, my future wife. There is another truth I need to tell you, and it is one that changed everything for me. I used to believe that success would make me happy. I used to think that once I reached a certain number in my bank account, once I achieved enough recognition, once I finally arrived at some imaginary destination called making it, then life would suddenly feel complete. But the deeper I traveled into this journey, the more I realized something powerful. Success is not what changes your life. The person you become while pursuing success is what changes your life. The money matters, the achievements matter, the victories matter, but they are not the greatest rewards. The greatest reward is becoming someone who can handle pressure without breaking, someone who can face uncertainty without panicking, someone who can experience failure without losing faith, someone who can walk through storms without forgetting where they are going. That realization transformed me. I stopped chasing outcomes and started chasing growth. I stopped focusing only on what I wanted to achieve and started focusing on who I needed to become. Because every dream has a price. Every vision demands a transformation. Every level of success requires a new version of yourself. Imagine a seed buried beneath the ground. To the outside world, it appears trapped in darkness. It appears forgotten. It appears alone. Yet beneath the surface, something incredible is happening. Roots are forming. Strength is developing. Growth is taking place where nobody can see it. That is how destiny often works. The world celebrates visible success, but destiny is usually built in invisible seasons. Long before anyone notices the results, the preparation has already begun. Long before the breakthrough arrives, the foundation has already been established. Maybe that is exactly where you are right now. Maybe you feel like nobody sees your effort. Maybe you feel like your sacrifices are going unnoticed. Maybe you feel like your dreams are taking longer than expected. If so, listen carefully. The seed does not dig itself up every few days to check its progress. It trusts the process. It keeps growing underground until the day arrives when it breaks through the surface. You must do the same. Trust your preparation. Trust your development. Trust your journey. Trust the fact that every challenge is shaping you into someone stronger than you were yesterday. My future wife, one day we will understand that some of our greatest blessings arrived disguised as disappointments. We will realize that certain doors needed to close because better doors were waiting ahead. We will realize that some delays protected us from things we were not ready for. We will realize that timing was never working against us. It was working for us. Life has a way of teaching this lesson repeatedly. Sometimes what feels like rejection is actually redirection. Sometimes what feels like failure is actually preparation. Sometimes what feels like the end is actually a beginning wearing a different mask. That is why I no longer fear setbacks the way I once did. I understand that every successful person has a chapter they do not like to talk about. A chapter filled with uncertainty, struggle, mistakes, and moments when nothing seemed to work. Yet those chapters are often the most important parts of the story because they create the strength necessary for future success. Diamonds are created under pressure, steel is forged through fire, and powerful people are shaped through adversity. That is not a punishment, that is preparation. Every challenge is asking one question: will you become smaller because of this, or will you become stronger? My answer is always the same: stronger. Not because strength comes naturally, not because fear disappears, but because growth demands courage. And courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward despite fear. There were moments when I questioned everything. Moments when the dream seemed impossible. Moments when reality looked heavier than hope. But every time I felt like giving up, I remembered a simple truth. The people who change their lives are not necessarily the most talented people. They are the people who stay in the game long enough for success to find them. Most people quit too early. Most people surrender right before the breakthrough. Most people stop when the results are still invisible. But extraordinary outcomes belong to those who persist beyond what is comfortable. My future wife, I hope you never underestimate how powerful consistency can be. A single day may not change your life. A single workout may not transform your body. A single book may not transform your mind. A single opportunity may not create wealth. But repeated over months and years, those small actions become unstoppable forces. Tiny improvements create massive results. Daily discipline creates extraordinary futures. Consistent effort creates uncommon lives. That is why I have learned to respect small victories. Every step forward matters, every lesson matters, every improvement matters, because greatness is not built in one dramatic moment. It is built through thousands of ordinary moments repeated with extraordinary commitment. And one day those ordinary moments become an extraordinary story. One day the late nights become achievements. One day the sacrifices become rewards. One day the struggle becomes wisdom. One day the vision becomes reality. When that day comes, people will call it luck. They will not see the years of preparation. They will not see the discipline. They will not see the persistence. They will only see the result. But we will know the truth. We will know that success was never an accident. It was a decision repeated daily. It was faith repeated daily. It was effort repeated daily. It was belief repeated daily. My future wife, if you ever find yourself standing at the edge of doubt, remember this. You are stronger than your circumstances. You are bigger than your fears. You are more capable than your excuses. You have survived challenges that once seemed impossible. You have overcome obstacles that once appeared overwhelming. You have grown through situations that should have defeated you. Never forget your own strength. Never underestimate your own resilience. Never speak to yourself as if you are powerless. Your words create your reality. Your thoughts influence your actions. Your beliefs shape your future. Choose them wisely. Speak life into your dreams. Speak confidence into your future. Speak courage into your circumstances. Speak possibility into your vision. Because everything extraordinary begins as a belief before it becomes a reality. And I believe this with all my heart. The best days are not behind us. They are ahead of us. The greatest opportunities are not gone. They are coming. The biggest breakthrough is not impossible. It is approaching. The life we imagine is not a fantasy. It is a future being built one decision at a time. So keep your standards high. Keep your vision clear. Keep your faith strong. Keep your heart focused. And when the world tells you to settle, remember that you were created for more growth, more purpose, more impact, more abundance, more possibility. My future wife, this journey is real. This vision is real. This transformation is real. And somewhere beyond today's horizon, a future exists that is greater than anything we have imagined. Until then, keep becoming the person your dreams require, because destiny is not waiting for perfection. Destiny is waiting for commitment. And commitment changes everything. My future wife, before this message ends, there is one final chapter I need to share with you. It is the chapter most people never talk about. The chapter that exists between who you are and who you are destined to become. That chapter is called patience. Not the passive kind of patience that sits around waiting for life to change. I am talking about active patience. The kind that keeps working when results are invisible. The kind that keeps believing when circumstances look discouraging. The kind that continues building when everyone else has already quit. The truth is, most people are not defeated by failure. They are defeated by impatience. They plant a seed and expect a forest overnight. They start a dream and expect immediate results. They begin a journey and expect instant success. But life does not operate that way. The greatest rewards belong to those who understand delayed gratification. They belong to those who can sacrifice today for a greater tomorrow. They belong to those who understand that meaningful achievements require meaningful preparation. My future wife, there are things happening right now that we cannot see. Opportunities are forming, connections are being created, doers are being prepared, lessons are being learned, growth is taking place, the future is quietly arranging itself. Most people never notice because they are too focused on what they have not received. They become blind to what they are becoming. Do not make that mistake. Sometimes the greatest gift is not getting what you want immediately. Sometimes the greatest gift is becoming the person capable of handling what you want, A person can inherit money and lose it. A person can receive success and waste it. A person can gain opportunities and destroy them. Why? Because rewards without preparation become burdens. That is why personal growth must always come before personal achievement. The world sees the crown. Few people see the responsibility. The world sees the reward. Few people see the sacrifice. The world sees the spotlight. Few people see the years spent in darkness preparing for that moment. I have learned that success is not about reaching the top. Success is about becoming someone who belongs there. That is the real journey. That is the real transformation. And that is why I refuse to rush the process. Every season has a purpose. Every challenge has a lesson. Every delay has a reason. Every obstacle contains hidden value. One day we will look back and realize that even the difficult moments were working in our favor. The failures taught wisdom. The setbacks taught resilience. The uncertainty taught faith. The struggles taught gratitude. Without those lessons, the victories would have meant less. My future wife, there will be moments in life when the path ahead looks unclear. There will be times when fear tries to convince you that your dreams are too ambitious. There will be voices that encourage you to settle for less than what your heart knows is possible. When those moments arrive, remember this: you were not born to live a small life. You were not created to spend your years trapped by fear. You were not designed to shrink your dreams to match other people's expectations. You were given imagination for a reason. You were given vision for a reason. You were given ambition for a reason. Your dreams are not random. They are clues. Clues pointing toward the life you are capable of creating. Never apologize for wanting more from life. Want more growth. Want more wisdom. Want more impact. Want more abundance. Want more purpose. There is nothing selfish about maximizing your potential. In fact, the world benefits when people become the strongest version of themselves. A confident person inspires others. A disciplined person raises standards. A successful person creates opportunities. A courageous person gives others permission to be brave. That is why your growth matters, not just for you, for everyone whose life will eventually be touched by yours. Think about how one decision can alter an entire future. One book can change a mindset. One conversation can change a direction. One opportunity can change a career. One moment of courage can change a life. Never underestimate the power of a single decision. History is filled with people whose lives changed because they made one courageous choice when fear told them not to. The future often hides inside small decisions. That is why I choose growth today. That is why I choose discipline today. That is why I choose action today. Because tomorrow is built by what we do now, not by what we plan, not by what we wish, not by what we hope. By what we do. Action is the bridge between dreams and reality, and every day I remind myself that action beats intention. Execution beats imagination, commitment beats motivation. Motivation comes and goes, commitment remains. Feelings change, purpose remains. Circumstances change, vision remains. That is the mindset I want to carry into the future. A mindset that refuses to surrender. A mindset that refuses to become average. A mindset that refuses to let temporary discomfort destroy permanent possibility. My future wife, if you are ever tempted to quit, remember the version of yourself waiting on the other side of perseverance. The stronger version, the wiser version, the wealthier version, the more confident version, the more fulfilled version. That person already exists within you. They are simply waiting for your current self to keep moving forward. Everything you want is asking one question: how badly do you want it? Not through words, not through wishes, but through actions. The universe rewards commitment. Life responds to persistence. Opportunity notices preparation, and success eventually finds those who refuse to stop. So continue believing, continue building, continue learning, continue improving, continue becoming. The road may be longer than expected. The challenge may be harder than expected. The sacrifice may be greater than expected. But the reward will also be greater than expected. One day all the effort will make sense. One day all the pieces will connect. One day the struggles will become strength. One day the waiting will become worth it. One day the dream will no longer be a dream. It will be reality. And when that day arrives, we will not celebrate because it was easy. We will celebrate because we earned it, because we grew into it, because we became worthy of it. Until then, Keep your eyes on the vision. Keep your standards high. Keep your faith unshaken. Keep your heart strong. Keep your focus clear. And never forget this truth. The future does not belong to the lucky. The future belongs to those who prepare for it before it arrives. My future wife, this is real. The journey is real. The vision is real. The growth is real. The transformation is real. And somewhere ahead, beyond every challenge, beyond every obstacle, beyond every doubt, an extraordinary future is waiting for those brave enough to keep moving forward. I'll see you there. My future wife, if these words ever find you, let them serve as a reminder that nothing about this journey has been accidental. Every challenge, every setback, every lesson, every victory, and every sacrifice has been shaping us into the people we are meant to become. Long before our paths officially cross, life is already preparing us. It is strengthening our character, sharpening our vision, and teaching us the value of patience, resilience, and unwavering belief. I do not know exactly where you are today. I do not know what battles you are fighting, what dreams you are pursuing, or what obstacles stand in your way. But I know this. Never stop believing in the future that is calling your name. Never allow temporary circumstances to convince you that your destiny has limits. The person you are becoming is far more powerful than the problems you are facing. As for me, I will continue building. I will continue growing. I will continue pushing beyond my comfort zone. I will continue turning obstacles into opportunities and dreams into plans. I will continue becoming stronger, wiser, and more capable with every passing day, not because the road is easy, but because the future is worth it. One day, we will look back at this season and understand why every challenge was necessary. We will see how every delay carried a purpose. We will realize that the moments that tested us the most were actually preparing us for the blessings that followed. What once felt uncertain will become clear. What once seemed impossible will become evidence of what persistence can achieve. So until that day arrives, keep moving forward with courage. Keep dreaming bigger than your fears. Keep believing when others doubt. Keep working when others quit. Keep standing tall when life tries to bend you. Your story is not over. Your breakthrough is not behind you. Your greatest chapter is still ahead. Remember this forever. You are not defined by where you are today. You are defined by what you refuse to give up on. You are not limited by your past. You are empowered by the lessons it taught you. You are not waiting for the future. You are creating it. And when the world asks how you achieved the impossible, your answer will be simple. I never stopped believing. I never stopped growing. I never stopped moving forward. My future wife, this is real. The dream is real. The vision is real. The love is real. The future is real. And no matter how long the road may seem, I know with absolute certainty that the best is yet to come. Stay focused, stay faithful, stay relentless, because somewhere beyond today's horizon, an extraordinary life is waiting for us, and we are getting closer to it every single day.